Welcome back, everyone, to the last part of Natalia's story of kidding around. This is the last stage. We have a little bit of setup to get going, and then we can start. I will note that a couple videos back, I would like to clarify the retreating rules for enemies. If enemies, once they have moved, are not engaged with fighters, they will not retreat. So I think I played that wrong with Ignacio several videos ago, but it is what it is. Can't change it now. Alright, so let's go ahead and read the story. Part 3B. Natalia spent nearly a week following leads, but still no sign of Zane. The hospital said that a group of nearly identical women visited him, but then they quickly vanished shortly after, along with Zane. It didn't make any sense. One thing Natalia knew for certain: the kingdom was responsible. Natalia continued her mission, determined to spend every spare second she could tracking down Zane, and finally she did, though not in the way she imagined. The blow to the back of her head came out of nowhere. Even on the verge of blacking out, she cursed herself. No one got the jump on her. As she struggled to her feet, turning around, she saw her assailant. He was definitely healed. "Hey, sis," Zane smiled cruelly. "I hear you killed my parents." Before Natalia could respond, footsteps echoed all around. The fight had begun. So this time, we'll make sure to read the black part of the card. Stage setup. Put the Zane rival card into play in your threat area. Randomly discard one card from your starting hand. Well, first things first, we need to draw a starting hand. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We have Sonic Blade. It's an attack. We have a Snap Kick. Love that card. It's an attack as well. Sonic Blade, another attack. And Disarm, attack. So we're going to mulligan all four of these cards. Hang on with me as we'll shuffle and draw 4 new cards. Alright, I've shuffled. Time to draw 4 new cards. We have a Disarm attack. Our Specialized Commando, our upgraded Commando card. That's awesome. Our Rush B ability. And our Tactic Infiltrate. Unfortunately, we have to discard one of these at random. Please don't let it be my Commando card. Alright, which one? Please don't be my Commando card. Whew, okay. It's a tactic, so that kind of bumps me out, but at least it's not my upgraded Commando card. So we'll go ahead and discard that. I would like to point out that we still have Orphaned again in our threat area because we did not defeat any minions last game. We've also added Zane to the threat area per the story card. He has 9 health, comes in with 2 grapple defense, and his activate ability says, if unengaged, gain 2 random defense tokens, advance 3 spaces toward the nearest fighter, and deal 1 fighter engaged with this enemy 2 general damage. Otherwise, each fighter engaged with Zane discards 1 card from their hand and discards 1 power. So the enemy group I decided to play against is the Golden Dragons, and their big bad is named Ah Long. So let's take a closer look at what he does. Ah Long has 15 health, attacks with 4 dice, and as a setup, it says remove each Heavenly Dragon card from the enemy deck, shuffle them together, and put 1 in each fighter's threat area. Discard the rest, and put each Shadow Sun into play. He also has an activate. All long attacks, dealing +1 direct damage. Each fighter that was not attacked this way activates the Mercy effect on each card in their threat area. So Shadow Sun is a tactic that we put into play, and it says this card cannot leave play. All long gains +5 per player health. Each time All long suffers 5 or more damage from a single attack, discard 1 Heavenly Dragon card. And when it activates, All long gains defense tokens until he has at least 2 of each type. Oh! So I shuffled the Heavenly Dragon cards together and randomly picked one, discarding the rest, and we got Black Typhoon Kick. It says put this in your threat area. Activate. If All long is within 2 spaces of you, he deals you 3 kick damage. Otherwise, he gains 1 kick defense token. And as a mercy effect, each fighter discards 1 defense token. The stage I picked is called Gone Ballistic, and I've already seeded the board with the crates in 1 objective. You'll see here why in a second. I've placed my fighter in a starting location on a joystick, as well as all along on his starting spot. And my Zane proxy, I don't have a miniature for Zane, I just have a token, and I don't want to play with a token. He's going to get his own miniature, and he's starting next to Along as well. So Gone Ballistic, the stage setup says reveal cards from the stage deck until 1 objective cards are revealed. Put the revealed objective cards into play and shuffle all other revealed cards back into the stage deck. Each time a figure carrying an objective token suffers any amount of damage, that figure must discard 1 defense token. If unable to, that figure drops 1 objective token. When this activates, we're going to resolve the objective effect on the inactive objective nearest the boss. And as an interact, if we are in a space with an objective token, we may pick it up. The actual objective item says a figure deals +1 direct damage during each attack for each objective it carries. If the boss ever carries 3 objectives, the fighters lose. There's the loss condition. Objective. The boss moves 3 spaces toward this objective. Then, if in this objective space, the boss picks up this objective. So, with all that initial setup out of the way, it's time to go. Let's see if Natalia can defeat Along, as well as help from her once friend Zane. The first thing we're going to do is draw a card from the Golden Dragon deck. And it is a Dao. He comes in with 6 health. He rolls 3 attack die, has 1 kick defense token and 1 grapple defense token. When he activates, he's going to advance 4 spaces toward the nearest fighter and attack. Then retreat 2 spaces and gain 1 random defense token for each space retreated. And he will start right here. So the first thing I definitely want to do is get Commando into play. So glad I drew this card. So this is a Tactic Stealth. Your attacks gain +1 die. During each attack, you may discard 1 stealth card to treat any amount of damage you dealt as direct damage. As an action, each fighter gains 2 defensive tokens of his or her choice. Then each fighter with at least 1 of each type of defense token heals 3 damage. As a feint, we can move 3 spaces and play 1 attack card from our discard pile. So this will go into play. For my move action, I'm going to move 1, 2, 3. For my last action, I'm going to do a sprint, and I'm going to move 3 spaces, trying to get out of the range of Dao. So I'm going to move 1, 2, 3. I'm going to get a loot, and I get a leather whip. Discard this card during your grapple attack to add +2 die to that attack. Not the best since we don't have a lot of grapple, but it is what it is. Next, we need to activate our threat area, and we have quite a few cards to activate already. We're going to activate Orphaned again first. We're going to have to discard 1 card unless we discard a defense token. Well, we don't have any defense tokens, so we have to discard a card. This is our hand currently, and I think as much as I love Rush B, I think I'm going to have to discard this because I might need this arm in case the boss picks up an objective token. So Zane is going to activate, and he reads, if unengaged, gain 2 random defense tokens, advance 3 spaces toward the nearest fighter, and deal 1 fighter engaged with this enemy 2 general damage. Otherwise, each fighter engaged with Zane discards 1 card from their hand and discards 1 power. So all he's going to simply do is gain 2 random defense tokens and advance 3 spaces towards me. So we'll do the 2 random defense tokens first. We have 2 kicks. Then he'll move 3 spaces towards me. 1, 2, 3. Black Typhoon will activate now. Along is not within 2 spaces of us, so he's going to gain 1 kick defense token. Lastly, we're going to activate Dao, who's going to advance 4 spaces toward me and attack, and then retreat 2 spaces and gain 1 random defense token for each space retreated into. So here's where that retreating rule comes into play that we've been playing wrong a little bit. So he's going to advance 4 spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then try to attack, but he is not engaged. Since he's not engaged, he isn't going to retreat 2 spaces. And since he's not going to retreat 2 spaces, he's not going to gain random defense tokens. Can't forget to draw a card. Oh baby, we got our upgraded recon card. Need to get this in play. Along is going to activate. He would attack, but he's not engaged, so he's going to triggering the mercy effect on each card in my threat area. The only mercy effect I have is on Black Typhoon Kick, which reads each fighter discards 1 defense token. But guess what? We don't have any. We will then activate Shadow Sun, which says Along gains defense tokens until he has at least 2 of each type. Next, we'll activate the stage area. Resolve the objective effect on the inactive objective nearest the boss. Well, there's only one, and that's the yellow one. So we're going to resolve that. And it says the boss moves 3 spaces toward its objective. Then, if in this objective space, the boss picks up this objective. So the boss will move. 1, 2, 3. We need to draw a stage card, so we'll do that now. Supply Truck Event. Shuffle each minion in the enemy discard pile back into the enemy deck. Then each minion in play gains 1 random defense token. Currently, in the enemy discard, we only have Heavenly Dragons. So the only enemy that's going to be getting a random defense token is Dao, because he is the only minion in play. And he gets a punch. Moving to the next turn, we're going to go ahead and draw a Golden Dragon card. And we get another Dao. This one will be placed up here. And we can't forget to give him a starting kick defense and grapple defense. A lot of bad guys on the board already, but we do have one of our more powerful cards out, and I have the other one in my hand. So not looking terrible? That's to be determined. Alright, for the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to play a card, which is our Tactic Recon. And I'm immediately going to use it to exhaust. I'm going to shuffle 1 stealth card from our discard pile back into our deck to gain 1 of each type of defense token. Yes! And I'm going to be shuffling back in Infiltrate. For my move step, I'm going to move 3 on to the weapon cache. 1, 2, 3. For my action step, I'm going to interact with the objective and pick it up. And it's now going to go into my player area. Now we need to activate our threat area. So let's do that. So Orphaned again, I'm going to have to discard a defense token because I don't want to get rid of the card in my hand. So let's do a punch. Go ahead and get rid of this. So Zane is going to activate. He's going to gain 2 random defense tokens, advance 3 spaces towards me, and deal me 2 general damage. His 2 random defense tokens will be, you can't see that, 2 kicks. He will then advance 3 spaces towards me, 1, 2, 3, and deal me 2 general damage. I'm going to block both of those with my defense tokens, which powers them up. Black Typhoon is simply going to give Along 1 kick defensive token. The red Dao is going to move towards me, attack, and retreat, and the blue Dao is just simply going to move towards me, and then that's it. You're supposed to activate them from left to right, but at this point it doesn't really matter since the blue Dao can't affect me, so we'll do him real quick first. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the red Dao is going to move 1, face the right way. He's going to attack me with 3 white dice. 1 of each, a punch, a kick, and a grapple. Since I have no defense tokens, I will take 3 damage, and I will have to unfortunately drop the yellow objective since I don't have a defense token to drop. This will go back to the stage area, and then I have to drop it adjacent to me. So I will drop it behind me, right here. Can't forget to draw a card. Razor's Edge. If you are unengaged, attack with 2 red dice. This attack may target an enemy within 5 spaces of you, dealing a single type of damage of your choice. Kick, punch, or grapple. Along would attack, but he can't since he's not engaged with me, so we will resolve the mercy effect on each card in my threat area, which, if we remember, is just the Black Typhoon Kick, which says each fighter discards 1 defense token, which I don't currently have. Shadow Sun says Along gains defense tokens until he has at least 2 of each type. I already got that covered, so that doesn't do anything. And now we'll move on to the stage turn. So we're going to resolve the objective on the yellow objective, since that is the only one on the board, and it's the one that's nearest to the boss. So he's going to move 3 spaces towards this objective, and then if he's on it, he's going to pick it up. So he will simply move 1, 2, 3. Getting a little tight in these quarters here. Can't forget to draw a stage card. Hidden Ballistic Vest gear. Attach this card to the minion with the least remaining health. Then that minion heals 2 damage and gains 1 random defense token. If no minions are in play, this boss gains 2 random defense tokens. Attached minion gains +2 health value. So there are only 2 minions on the board, and they both have 6 health. So let's give it to the blue one. He's going to get 1 random defense token, and he would heal, but he's at full health. He gets a grapple. Alright, it's the start of the fighter turn, and we will go ahead and unexhaust our cards. And then we will go ahead and draw a card from the Golden Dragons deck. Another Dow, and we'll place him right here. So I think I'm tempted to give up the objective for now. Go grab that loot and maybe attack the yellow Dow, the one that just came out. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move, and I'm going to move 1, 2, 3, claim a loot, and I draw a Molotov cocktail. Discard this card to choose a space within 3 spaces of you. Each figure in or adjacent to that chosen space is dealt 3 general damage. Well, guess what? I'm doing that right now. So I'm going to throw this right here, and it's going to affect all 3 of these people, dealing 3 general damage. For Zane, I'm going to get rid of 2 grapple and 1 kick. For the red Dow, it's going to get rid of all 3 of his tokens. Nice. And for all along, it doesn't really matter because Shadow Sun's going to give him them back anyway. But let's go ahead and do a kick and 2 punch. So the only thing I've done so far is move. So I'm going to play a card next, and I'm going to play Disarm. It's a grapple attack, and I get 2 dice, and I get a 3rd one because of my commando card in play. After resolving this attack, you may discard 1 card controlled by the target or draw 1 card. So I'm going to be using the draw 1 card ability. So I'm going to get 3 dice, plus I'm going to go ahead and discard my leather whip to add 2 dice to this grapple attack. So I'm rolling 4 dice against the yellow Dow. I have 2 grapple defense tokens I get, and then I'm dealing 3 grapple defense right now, but I still have to draw, I still have to roll 1 more dice because I don't have enough. So I'm dealing 4 grapple defense. Since he does not have any grapple defense tokens, he will take 4 damage. I can't forget, I play Disarm. I need to draw a card. Oh, snap kick, baby. Yeah. For my action step, I'm going to play Natalia's special ability, which is attack with 2 red dice. This attack deals general damage, then exhaust a minion targeted by this attack and draw 1 card. So we're going to be attacking with 3 dice because of commando. It's going to give us that extra dice, and this is going to be dealing general damage to the yellow Dow. Alright, so we have 1, 2, 3 hits so far. And I need to roll another die. Yes. That's a crit. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I get to take a defense token of my choice, so I will take a punch. And I still need to roll another die. So remember, we're dealing 4 damage so far. 5 total general damage. So he'll block 2 of them, and then he'll take 3. Well, 3 plus 4 is 7, so that is enough to eliminate him. We get to draw a loot for eliminating him, and it is another leather whip. Additionally, we can't forget that each time we defeat a minion, we get to place 1 power on Orphaned again, and if we ever have 5 on there, we can discard it. Also can't forget to draw a card because of my Crippling Strike, and we get a Sonic Blade. It is a punch attack. Next, we need to activate our threat area, so once again, Orphaned again will activate. We will get rid of a grapple token. Zane will activate, gain 2 random defense tokens, move 3 spaces towards me, and deal me 2 general damage. So here's his 2 random damage. 1 rolled off the board. It's a punch and a punch. He will move 3 spaces towards me. 1, 2, 3. And it will deal me 2 general damage. I will block both of those damages with my tokens, defense tokens, power me up. I'm now at 4 power-ups of 6. All along is not within 2 spaces of me, so he gains 1 defense token. And this time it doesn't matter which order they activate in, so we will activate the red one first, then followed by the blue one. So the red one's going to advance 4 spaces towards me and attack, and then retreat 2 spaces and gain 1 random defense token for each space retreated into. So he'll move 1, 2 to be next to me. He will attack me with 3 white die. So he's dealing me 3 damage. I cannot block any of it, putting me up at 6 damage. And then he will retreat exactly opposite of me, up to 2 spaces. So 1, 2, and he will gain 2 random defense tokens. A punch and a grapple. All right, the blue one's going to do the same thing. He's going to move up to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's going to hit me with 3. I'm going to take 3 damage. It's 9 of 18. He's going to retreat and going to do 1, and he's going to gain 1 defense token. And it is a grapple. That actually helps me because now Ao Long can't get the objective. All right, we're going to draw a card. We get Rush B. You may move up to 4 spaces each time you enter a space during this movement. You may attack with 1 red die, dealing direct damage. Each of these attacks deals +1 direct damage if you have not attacked that target yet this turn. This could be pretty helpful in this case. So the enemies will activate. Ao Long would try to attack, but he's not engaged with me, so we will activate the Mercy effect on the Heavenly Dragon card in my play area, which says to discard 1 defense token, but we don't have any. And then Shadow Sun is going to give him 2 punch defense tokens since he doesn't have any of those. For the stage step, he's going to simply move 1 space towards the weapon cache, and his buddy minion is preventing him from picking it up, so that's fantastic. So he'll simply move here. And then we need to draw a card from the Gone Ballistic stage deck. Ooh, another one. The green objective comes out on the board. All right, I think we'll do 1 more fighter turn and then call this video good, and you'll have to come back for the next episode. First things first, draw a card from the Golden Dragons deck. It's a Jin. Ooh, 5 health, 4 attack power, 2 punch defense tokens, and activate. Attack each fighter engaged with this enemy. Then, if unengaged, gain 1 random defense token, advance 3 spaces toward the nearest fighter, and deal 1 fighter engaged with this enemy 3 general damage. Whew. And he comes onto the board right next to me. So I think the general strategy for this turn is to do a pretty big attack and then get the heck away from them. Just too many of them to take on by myself. So the first thing I'm going to do is play Rush B. I may move up to 4 spaces. Each time you enter a space during this movement, you may attack with 1 red die. 2 red die since I have Commando out. Dealing direct damage. Each of these attacks deals +1 direct damage if you have not attacked that target yet this turn. So I'm going to move 1 and attack Zane for 2 red dice. So I'm dealing 2 direct damage, and I get to choose a defense token of my choice, so I'm going to choose a punch. And actually that's 3 direct damage because this is the first time I've attacked him this turn. We will then move here next to the blue one, and we will roll 2 red dice. So that's 1, 2, 3 plus 1 direct damage. This is the first time I've attacked him. So 4 to the blue Dao, and then I get a defensive token of my choice. I'll go ahead and gain a grapple. I will move 3, and I'm going to attack the blue Dao again with 2 dice. So I get 2 more direct damage. That gives him a total of 6. Unfortunately, that does not defeat him because he has that armored vest on. He has +2 health value. And then I'm going to move right here next to the red Dao and attack with 2 red dice. Once again, I get a +1 direct damage because it's the first time I've attacked him. So 2 direct damage to the red Dao, and I get a defensive token. Let me go ahead and grab a punch. So that was my play card step. For my move step, I think I'm just going to move up towards this area. There's a lot of loot in that objective token. So 1, 2, 3. And for my last action step, I'm going to do a sprint and go towards the top crate. So 1, 2, 3. And that will put me out of a range of some attacks this turn. Per usual, I need to discard a defense token. So I'll get rid of a punch. For Zane, we're going to gain 2 random defense tokens and advance 3 spaces towards me. He will get a grapple and a kick and advance 3 spaces towards me. 1, 2, 3. All Along is not within 2 spaces of me, so he's going to gain a kick defense token. The red Dow is going to advance 4 spaces towards me. 1, 2, 3, 4. The blue Dow is going to advance 4 spaces towards me. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the Djinn is going to gain 1 random defense token and advance 3 spaces towards me. He'll gain a kick. 1, 2, 3. Can't forget to draw a card. It's another commando card. All Along is not engaged with me, so he won't attack. He will initiate his Mercy activation, and I do have defense tokens this time, so I will go ahead and discard a grapple. And then Shadow Sun will not activate because he already has at least two of each type. All right, so we will resolve for the stage step the objective effect on the inactive objective nearest the boss, which is the yellow one, and so he'll move 3 spaces towards it and pick it up, which is why I need my disarm card back or another one to show up so that I can get him to drop that. So he'll go 1, pick it up, and the objective will go on his card. The objective will now move from the stage area to the enemy area. And he gets +1 direct damage. Can't forget to draw a Gone Ballistic Stage card. Weapon Jam event. If at least one figure controls an objective, which All Along does, this card deals that figure with the most objectives 2 general damage. Then the boss deals each fighter direct damage for each objective it carries. Alright, so All Along's going to take 2 general damage, and since we're not carrying objectives, it's not going to deal us any damage. So that's fantastic. And we will go ahead and get rid of 2 kicks, leaving him with 2, which is perfect. Alright, come back next time where we will continue this playthrough. I'm hurting a little bit. I'm at 9 of 18 damage, and I haven't done any damage to All Along, and he already has 1 of 3 objectives. So I have my play area set up a little bit. I have my commando, I have my recon, but I'm not feeling it right now. I'm just not in the groove. So these enemies have just swarmed me, and I just I feel like I gotta take a couple more out, but I feel like more are gonna come on the board. So I don't know what the next step is, but I'll think about it and we'll see.